So good evening, everyone. Welcome to this channel named Geeks for Geeks School, where we guys provide you with free of cost coding classes. First of all, I would like to thank all these students who are regularly liking and sharing my videos in their groups. Thank you so very much for making me so popular today. And also, I would like to thank all the students who are sharing their ideas with us. Just because of the things that which you are sharing with us in the chat box, we are doing, we are able to provide you such amazing video, and we are able to provide you with such amazing content. So thank you to all the students who are sharing their innovative ideas with us. So in the previous lecture, we learned about how can we use Pygame for developing enemy sprites for on our game space, right? And before that, we learned about free games module, which is again a very good package with the help of which you can develop games on a Python platform. Now, if you guys don't know about free games, I would like to request you all to please go and check the tutorials which I shooted for free games. Definitely, you are going to get a lot of things from there, and you are going to take away many things from those tutorials which I have shooted on free games. So it is again a very good module with the help of which you can develop interactive games on a Python platform. Then we are using this Pygame right now. We are learning how can we use Pygame for developing, interactive games. We have finished up a lot in this game development series. So the first thing which I would like to start with is I would like to brief you again about what all we have done till now in Pygame, and after that I would tell you the code with the help of which you can identify the collision, or with the help of which you can make the platform intelligent enough that it can check the collision happening between the player and the enemy sprite. So let's dive into the platform and first check this coding which I have written over here, okay, on this Sublime Text platform. So this is Sublime Text which I'm using right now. Let me run this code first to show you what's the output this code is giving us at present. So I can run it like this. So, right now this game is giving us this output. So this small rectangle which you are able to see coming from this left side and moving towards the right side, it's the enemy sprite. And the one which is, which is getting reflected right on the top, and it's very calm and cool right now. Why? Because I'm not using the direction keys for moving this sprite. So this is our player. If I want to move it, I can simply make use of my direction keys like this. So I can move it upwards, I can move it downwards, I can move it towards the right, I can move it towards the left. Right. Now what is happening when this enemy sprite is colliding with this player of ours? Nothing is happening. What I want is I want the this window on which we are able to see the enemy sprite as well as this player. It should disappear or the game should end, right? That's what I want. When it should happen when the enemy sprite collides with this player of ours. So first of all, I would like to tell you, I would like to explain you the whole code which we have, which we have here on this platform. And after that, I'm going to tell you the code with the help of which we can detect the collision happening in between this player and the enemy sprite. So I'm closing this window. We can simply hit the close button for closing it. Now the first thing that we did is we imported this Pygame module, right? So that's the one which is from where we are getting all the classes and all the functions which are helping us to, which have helped us to create this game. And definitely we are going to do it in the future 2 or 3 lectures also, because this game is not yet complete. Today we'll be checking how can we define the code for the collision part, And then in next 2 days, we'll be checking how can we define a very good background for this game, and also we'll see how can we replace the player and the enemy sprites with some images. So that's what we are going to do in the next few lectures. So the first thing we have done over here is we have imported this Pygame module, and then we imported this random module which is going to help us in getting some random values generated. So the player, the enemy which you are able to see moving from left side to the right side, it is this the platform is giving it a random velocity, and with that velocity it is traveling from one point to the other point. All right, so that's the module which is helping us in getting the random values generated. Then we have this pygame.local. So for which key, there are different kind of keys present on the keyboard. Upward direction key, we have downward direction key, then left direction, right direction, escape key. There are several keys. Now, if you want to identify the key which the user has pressed when the game is in running mode, so what you can do, you can make use of this pygame.local. So what I have done, I've imported all these functions from this module, right? So this is for upward direction key, this is for the downward direction key, this is for the left direction key, and so on. Okay, then we have these two variables which I have used over here for the width and the height of the screen. So that's the whole code which I've used for the player sprite. The rectangle which you're able to see over here right on the top when I start the game, this one. So that's our player. So how I have created this player, let me just tell you that. So player is the name of the class which I have defined over here for that player sprite, and that's the one which is helping me in creating the player. So it is sprite. Remember this function, or you can say property. So sprite is helping me to create a player sprite, to create the player sprite. Then we have this initiate function. Okay, if you know about the basics of Python, definitely you must be knowing about this init function also, and you must be aware about this self parameter also. If you don't know about that, I would request you to please go and check the tutorials in which I've explained the basic things of Python. Then we have this super keyword over here, which is helping us to inherit the properties of the parent class into the child class, right? Then this self.surf over here is for surface. So that white color rectangle which you're seeing, it's a kind of surface, right? And we have given it a rectangular shape through this function, and it is in the background color of that white, the rectangle is white. Why it is white? Because to this function which I've used for this player surface, I have passed these three coordinates. So that's the color. Okay, and it is for the white color. If I'll change it to something like 122, and if I'll change the coordinate to 111, and this third one to, let's say, 23, let's see color what color of player are we going to get now in the this window. So we are getting this green color of player. So that's how you can change the color of the player. So it is your choice which color or which color of player you want to see on your window. Then we have the code for the key presses. So if suppose the user presses any key, right? If suppose he presses the upward direction key, so what I want to see my player moving upwards. And if he presses the downward direction key, I want to see the player moving downwards. So how can we do that? So for that, I've again defined this function named update. So if the upward direction key will be pressed, the rectangle, that white color rectangle, our player, I'm talking about my player right now. So it will move towards the upward direction, and here, because it will be moving towards the upward direction, so to move it in that way we need to pass -5. why I haven't made any changes over here for this x value of this coordinates. It's because the movement will take place along the y-axis. These all the things which I'm telling you right now, I've already explained in the previous lectures. So definitely, if you want to understand them in a more better way, please do check the previous lectures. You will be able to grab a good hold of these things. Then you will be able to understand these things in a more good way. Then okay, if he will press the downward direction key, the player should start moving downwards. So that's the reason I've passed a positive value here for this y part of the coordinates. And similarly, I've defined the if control statements for the rest of the two keys. So for the left direction key, that's the code, and for the right direction key, this is the one which is going to move the player in the right direction key when the right direction key will be pressed. Now, in case the user goes on hitting the left direction key or the right direction key, how can I prevent the player from going out of the window? What I want to tell you is this: if suppose the player is here, right now the player is here. If I'll press the left direction key, see the player is not going out of the window. And if I'm pressing the right direction key, it stopped here, right? Its movement has stopped here. It is not now. It is now not moving further in the right direction. So why is it so? It's because of this if control statements which I've defined over here. So if the left position is smaller than 0, so it will become automatically equal to 0, right? If the right position, right, is greater than screen's width, so what will happen? The rectangle's right position will become equal to the screen width. So that's the code which is helping us in preventing the player going out of the window, right? So it will not go out of the window, it will be there always on the window. Then we have this class named enemy. So the way I've created the player sprite right over here, using this class player, I have defined a separate class, and I've defined a separate class for the enemy sprite, for creating the enemy sprite. And the code is very much similar. Whatever I have used here for creating the player sprite, I have used almost the same code for creating the enemy sprite also. But because I have to move it, I want to see it moving automatically itself. It's not a two-player game, it's a one-player game only. So I want this enemy to move automatically from the left side towards the right side. And that's the reason I have defined some more coding over here, some more lines of codes over here. Let me just explain you those lines of codes. So that's the get rectangle here. I have defined the position where I would like to see the enemy sprite getting reflected. So every time an enemy sprite will get generated, what I have done for this enemy sprite, I have created a group of sprites. The way we have group sprites option in game lab, which is there on code.org. In the same way, we can create a group of sprites. So why we require a group of sprite? Because I don't want the same enemy to go on moving from one point to the other, and the player should see the same enemy every time. I don't want that to happen. But how I have coded this game, that if an enemy gets created, and if it you know if it is moving, it should move automatically. The moment it gets created, it should start moving automatically towards the left side. So that's the code which is helping us to move the enemy automatically towards the left side. Why? Because this is the one which is actually providing a speed to the enemy. Okay, because now the enemy sprite has some speed, so it will automatically move in the right direction or in the left direction. Now because the coordinates which I've passed over here are positive. So that is the reason it will move from the from the right side towards the left side. Okay, then which is the function which is helping me? What is a function which is helping us in moving the sprite continuously from one point to the other point? So this is the function which is continuously updating the speed, or you can say the what we call it, the position of the enemy sprite. Update function. Okay, so minus self dot speed I've used here, and the moment the enemy sprite leaves the screen, the movement its value become smaller than zero. That self dot reg dot right becomes smaller than zero. It will not become equal to zero because I don't want to see that enemy sprite getting reflected on the window. I want it to get destroyed automatically. That is the reason I have used this self dot kill. So this function is going to kill the enemy sprite permanently. Okay, now we have this Pygame.init. Now why I have used this function, I've already told you many times in the previous lecture, but definitely I'm going to tell it to you again. So this is going to help us in resolving all the compatibility issues. When we are running a game, it may be possible that this software specifications may not get properly synchronized with the hardware specifications on which we are running the game. So that's the function which helps us in resolving all the compatibility issues, right? So this is again very important to define. Then we have this pygame.display.set mode. It is helping us in setting the screen's dimensions, right? What dimension of screen do we want? What should be the width and what should be the height of the screen? So that's the function you can use for playing with the dimensions of the screen. Then we have this add enemy. So we have used this variable for creating custom events, right? For adding a new sprite. So every time a sprite gets killed, every time an enemy sprite gets killed, automatically a new sprite will get generated. Automatically a new sprite will get generated, and it will get added to the, it will come from this group, or you can say it will get added to this group. And because we have called this group here inside this main loop, so we have called it here. Yeah. So here what is happening, if the event will become equal to add enemy, so a new enemy sprite will get created, and it will get added to the enemies, and also it will get added to the all sprites. If you want to know more about this code, I would request you to please go and check the tutorial which I shooted yesterday, in which I have explained properly about this whole code. What I have done, I have used the concepts of game lab. So in that game lab, what happens? We have group sprites also and individual sprites also. We have the facility of creating both the type of sprites. But here what I have done for enemy sprites, I have used the group sprites concept. And for the player sprite, I have used the individual sprite concept. So uh, every time an enemy sprite will gets killed, a new enemy sprite will get generated, which will again start moving. As soon as it will get generated, it will start moving towards the right side with some specific speed. With some speed, it will start moving from the left side to the right side. Sorry, from the right side to the left side. Let me just show it to you. So that's the way the enemy sprites are getting generated. See, as soon as the enemy sprite leaves the window, another enemy sprite gets generated. So it is looking as if the same enemy is moving from left to from right to left again and again, but it is not so. I have coded this game in such a way that every time the enemy sprite which gets generated first, if it leaves the window, it will get killed automatically, and a new sprite at the very same movement will get generated, and it will also start moving from the right side to the towards the left side. So that's how this I've coded this enemy sprite. Then we have this while loop over here. Inside this, we are checking which key is pressed. So if it is the escape key which the user has pressed, so the running value should become false. And the moment the value of this variable will become false, the window will go disappear. You know, the window on which we are able to see the whole game. Talking about this window, the main window, the game window, you can say. Right? If I'll press the escape key, let's see what's gonna happen. So the game is over. Here also you can see it's coming finished. It's coming finished written over here, right? So the game is over. If you want to again start it, you want to restart it, you can again run the whole code and the game will start again. So there are two ways you can close the window. Either you can press the escape key or you can simply press this close button. So it is totally your choice. Now if you are pressing the close button, this condition is getting true, and that's the reason the value of running will become false and the window will get closed, right? And if you're pressing the escape key, it means that you're making this condition go true, and the moment it will become true, the value of running will become false and the window will get closed. The game will get over when the event type is equal to add enemy. So this will happen when the enemy which is actually present on the screen will leave it. Okay, so the moment it will leave it, it will get destroyed, and automatically this event will become true, and now it will generate it will the interpreter will execute these three lines of code, which will generate again a new enemy that we will be able to see on the screen moving from the left side towards the right side towards the left side, right? That's the code which is helping us in finding out which key is pressed, and based on the same, this update function will be called. And suppose if the left direction key is pressed, what will happen? We'll see the player moving towards the left side like this. If the right direction key is pressed, so it will move towards the right side. Now we need the things to get updated in real time on a regular basis. So that is the reason we have put these two lines of code inside this while loop, because it is the main loop. It is the one which will remain live throughout the game till the time any of these two conditions becomes true, right? Okay, then we have this enemies dot update, which is also very much required for updating the position of our enemies. This is for filling the screen with a black color. If you want to see some other color, you can change the coordinates like this, 3 for 34. Let's see what type of color we will get in the background now. So it's blue, right? White was looking quite cool, right? So let me change it to white again. So these are the coordinates of the, sorry, black was looking quite good. So these are the coordinates which you can put for getting the black color in the background. Okay, now for drawing all the sprites, in Game Lab, what used to happen, we used to use draw loop, if you remember. Here we have used this loop. So blit is for block transfer. It is used for getting everything reflected on the window that we have created. If I'll remove it from here, let me just convert it into comment. Now if I will run my game, let's see what's gonna happen. So I'll not be able to see anything getting reflected over here. Why? Because there is no function which can help us in bringing everything whatever we have coded for on this window. So blit, this block transfer function, can help us in doing the same. Now if I will run this game, so I will be able to see the player as well as I'll be able to see the enemy's sprite, right, like this. So, and finally we have this flip function. So flip it will flip everything to the display. That's what we use this function, right? So I think I'm done with discussing everything, whatever I have coded till now. And if you want to learn more about the codes which I have defined over here on the Sublime Text platform, which I have showed you till now. So what you can do, you can check the previous 4 lectures which I shooted for this Pygame module, right, in which I have explained everything step by step. Now it's time for us to define the code which can help us in detecting the collision. So what we can do, we can come down over here and so over here, and we can simply make use of if control statement. I think that will do. So if we can use pygame dot sprite, if pygame dot sprite, and there is a function named sprite collide any. If you don't know about it, please note it down somewhere. So sprite collide any is the function you can use for checking the collision, and then we can pass these two as parameters. So player, because we want to check the collision between the player and the enemy's sprite, right? So enemies, these two are the things which we need to pass as a parameter to this sprite collide any function. Now if if the enemy will collide with the player, what should happen? The game should stop, the loop should stop running, this main loop should stop running. Now how can we make it stop running? It's very simple. The logic which we have used here, what we are doing here, we are making the value of this running go false. The moment this condition becomes true, the value of this running should become equal to false. And the moment it will become false, the loop will stop running. So that's the concept which we are going to again use here for this collision. When this collision will happen, so player should get killed. That's the first thing I would like to do. And secondly, I would like my value of this running variable should go false. So that's what we can do. So these simple 3 lines of code, with these 3 simple line of code, you can check the collision thing. So let's now run this game and see whether this these 3 lines of code will give us the desired output or not. So I am running it on Python like this, and let's see. Okay, so the moment the enemy sprite collided with the player sprite, the value of running became false and the game stopped. Right, let me show it to you one more time. Isn't it amazing? See, so right now it has not touched the player sprite, and let's see. Okay, it is not touching our, it has not touched our player yet. Okay, so the moment it touched the player sprite, the window uh, went down and we are now back on this coding window. So that's how, with the help of this sprite collide any, you can check the collision part. I hope you have understood everything whatever I have explained in this lecture. Let me now check the comment box. If I have anything to answer, definitely I would answer that or those queries. Okay, so code producer. May I know your name, please, dear? If you can please put it in the chat box so that I can shout out your name. Anusha, Ambati, thank you very much, both of you, for joining this lecture. I hope you guys enjoyed this one a lot. And now, before leaving, I would like to tell you about a course which we guys have come up with. So it's based on data structures and algorithm. If you want to learn how can you structure your data, so this is the course you can avail, and you can learn the different techniques you can use for structuring your data. So basically a computer program is something with the help of which we can pass the instructions or give the instructions to our computer. And when you are giving the instructions to the computer, you need to retrieve or store some data. So data structures is a location where you can, it is a named location where you can store some data, and from where you can retrieve the data also, right? So what is algorithm? Algorithm is sequentially connected steps. It refers to sequentially connected steps with the help of which we can solve a problem. So with the help of this data structures and algorithm course, you will be able to develop optimized programs which you can implement on various programming platforms like Python, C, C++, Java, etc. So we have designed this data structures and algorithm course keeping 9 to 12 students in mind, right? But if you are pursuing graduation or post graduation and you want to learn things like linked list, tag, queue, definitely you can avail this course, and you can take the advantages of the tutorials which we are going to provide you in this course. So that's the web page on which you can find all the information about this course. So we'll start with the basic concepts first, and then it will be followed by some advanced concepts related to data structures and algorithm. Also, we'll provide you with some live problem solving sessions. Definitely, they will enhance your problem solving skills and your thinking skills a lot. Then we have this tab over here. So if you'll click on this button, automatically a new tab will open up, and here you will see a PDF file in which you can find all the topics that will be taught to you guys in the lectures we'll provide you in this course. So we have bifurcated this course week wise. There are going to be 4 lectures per week, right? And it is a 4 week course. So in total, we'll provide you with 16 classes. So as you can see in this week one, in lecture one, we are going to talk about basics of arrays, basics of loops, and it will be then we'll move to the linear search, type of searches that we can do in data structure. Then what are the different types of algorithms we can use in data structures and algorithms. So that's what we are going to learn about, and it will be followed by a problem solving session where you will be given, where the lecturer will give you some problems based on whatever have been covered in these first 3 lectures, and you'll have to solve those problems live in front of your mentor, right? So it is going to be a very interesting session. You are going to take away many things from here. Then we have this week two. Here we are going to talk about hashing and its implementation. Then what are the different types of sorting we can use? What are the different types of sorting techniques we can use for structuring our data? That's what we are going to talk about, which will then be followed by this problem solving session. Right. Then in this week three, we will talk about linked list and concepts related to stack queue, priority queue, and again there will be a problem solving session at the end. And finally, we will talk about the very much these two topics, BFS and DFS, which are very much in demand in the market. So breadth first search and depth first search techniques are used by professionals, when they have to deal with things which require structuring. So definitely you're going to take away many things, many things from this course, and this course is going to benefit you a lot in all the ways. So if you want to avail this course, you can log in and register yourself for this course. You just have to come on this web page. Using this URL, you can access this web page and register yourself and start availing the classes. Besides, if you have any queries related to this course or any other course which you have seen on Geeks for Geeks main portal, so you can talk to us on this toll-free number of ours. If you want, you can drop us an email on this official email ID of ours also. Right, so this is it from my side in this lecture. Hope you guys enjoyed this one a lot. I hope to see you soon in the next lecture, which I'm going to shoot tomorrow at the same time, 5:30. And in tomorrow's lecture, we are going to talk about how can we replace these players and enemies sprite with some, amazing and beautiful, what we call it, images. And also, how can we design a appealing background. So these are the all things we will talk in tomorrow's lecture. So I don't want you guys to miss tomorrow's lecture. Please be there with me and do not forget to like and share this video in your groups so that they guys who are currently in this coding learning process can come and join this channel of ours and can learn coding from these amazing lectures which we are shooting on this extremely good channel which is Geeks for Geeks School. Thank you very much to all of you for supporting the channel. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye everyone and take care.